Hello, everyone. My name is Marion with DTM Real Talk Channel. It's the channel that you can tune into, have the ability to listen to the thoughts of others about topics all over the world that touch every one of our lives. Everybody goes through basically the same thing. There is nothing new under the sun. So if you're going through, someone else has already been there. Maybe you can find hope. Maybe it's a pathway that can set you on the right road just by tuning in. So DTM Real Talk, just keeping it real. And if you like it, like us at the bottom, subscribe, and let us know just how we helped you. Just keeping it real. Nothing but love. Welcome to DTM Real Talk tonight, and we're totally excited. And I have a special guest tonight, and his name is Ricardo Porter. Say hi to the good folks out there.
Good evening, everybody. Happy to be here.
Yes. Y'all see my big old smile, because when I don't know this man, but I was introduced to him by a very special man of God that lives in Tyler that we have great respect for. Thank you, Pastor McMillan, wherever you are. I know you're listening. But anyway, yes. I wanted to talk to, I actually was asking Pastor McMillan for a referral, and who did he think would be a good candidate that would be transparent and share this story that others might come to some place of freedom or some place of confirmation or some place of no resolve. Yeah. So anyway, welcome.
Thank you. Happy to be here tonight.
Yes. And we had a talk. We actually talked a couple of times, but the last time, how long did we talk?
At least 45 minutes.
45 minutes to an hour. Y'all know I don't talk.
Yeah.
Y'all know I don't talk that much.
Yeah, we had a great conversation.
Yeah, we did. But anyway, let me just say to YouTube land, this is DTM Real Talk, and we're just keeping it real tonight. And if this is your first time chiming in, listening, we welcome you. And do me a favor, like, share, and subscribe. Get this channel out to all of your friends, because you never know what God is doing. You never know how he is speaking through my guests in order to free you or free somebody or give someone a confirmation or just some comfort or encouragement. So
right.
We're going to get started with this because Ricardo is actually a pastor. And so
Amen.
We're going to start. This is a transparent pastor. So we're going to talk a little bit about his journey. So tell the good folks, where you're from.
I am from a city in Virginia called Portsmouth, Virginia. That is where I was born and raised.
Okay.
There, and the Portsmouth, Virginia is known for its military base, the naval. Yeah, so that's where I'm from.
Okay. How far is that from Roanoke, Virginia?
I would think that's about maybe an hour from Roanoke. Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I was actually in Roanoke about a year and a half ago. I have a pastor friend who is a son to me. I call him my PBS. That's Pastor brother son.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, we ministered together in Dallas, and we also ended up ministering together in Africa. And
good.
Yes, and then from there, he has built his church. The Lord pressed on he and his wife to build their church in Roanoke, Virginia, and I have ministered there with them twice. So yeah, Virginia is not where you're from. So tell us,
right.
What about siblings? What about mom, dad? Share with us.
Sure. I am the oldest of 5. I have 2 brothers and 2 sisters. My brother, retired military, lives in San Antonio now. I have another brother that lives still in Virginia, and my 2 sisters are in New York. Okay. And so I'm here in Texas, Tyler, Texas, and been here now for about, I say about 23 years.
Okay.
I've been in Tyler. So I'm happy to be here. Yeah, I'm a Tylerite now. Yeah. Yeah. They don't want to hear about Virginia. Yeah. yeah. They
So,
say, yeah.
so talk a little bit about your childhood, your parents, your growing
Yeah,
up.
my mother, Ruby White. Let me tell you, she was a awesome singer. She was an awesome singer, awesome mother. My mother passed at the age of 48 of cancer. I was young. I was 24 when she passed, and my brothers and sisters were extremely small then, and at that time I had to step up and do what I had to do to take care of my brothers and my sisters in the loss of our mother.
Wow.
But my mother was an amazing woman. She was an amazing woman. She worked hard. She went to college to be a nurse.
Mhm.
She was outgoing, and most of all, she loved the Lord, and she was a singer out this world.
Wow.
And that was just something that was instilled also in me to sing and all that. I didn't want to. They started making me, her and my grandmother would make me sing at the age of 8 years old,
Uh-huh.
and standing before a crowd of people and you being made to sing, that's kind of nerve wracking. But they that was so nerve wracking, and then I would be so embarrassed, among my other peers. But I'm glad it happened. I'm glad
Yeah.
it happened because with that, I was able to get closer to God, and I was able to, as the Bible says, your gift will make room for you. I
Uh-huh.
was able to travel all across the country,
See, I
being
know I
able to.
heard it right. We were on the phone, YouTube land, and I said, "Can you sing?" I said, "'Cause I hear it." Didn't I say that?
You did, you did, you
I said,
did,
"I hear it." Yeah. So you're
you
gonna have
did.
to put a number before we leave. I am not gonna let y'all hear it.
Okay. Okay.
But anyway, so okay, so you are I take it just from your sharing is that you were brought up in the church.
We were always in church, Pentecostal.
Okay.
Pentecostal. So for anybody that's listening that know anything about Pentecostal,
Right,
we stayed in church all the time.
right,
All the
right,
time. When I got grown, I just swore. I said, I'm not going to church unless I have to. But of course that changed.
right,
But
right.
yes, we stayed in church all the time. Mom made sure we was in, Bible study, Sunday school, morning worship, revivals, uh, you know, YPWW. A lot of young people don't know anything about that.
Right, right.
But yeah, young people, willing workers. But yeah, we were in church all the time, Marion. Yeah,
Okay,
and
okay.
yeah.
So at what point sounds like my life. But anyway, so at what point did you actually being raised in the church, and we share a lot, being raised in the church, you learn about God, you learn about the love of Jesus, but
Yes.
at what point in your life did you actually uh have a relationship with God, that you got saved, that you knew that you had accepted Christ as Lord and Savior? At what point in your life was that?
Uh, Thanks for asking that, because Marion, it was at the age of 27.
Okay. Got
Um, my mom had died. I had kind of lost my way. I was a husband with three small children,
okay.
trying to figure this out, this thing called life. Um, by mom being gone so soon, and she, was called while I was so young, never got a chance to, talk with her about different things. We never got a chance to relive and do things that we wanted to do. But it was at the age of 27. At the age of 27,
At the age of 27 is when you accepted Christ and was called to preach, or is that when you make that clear for the people out there?
okay. At the age of 15 is when I accepted Christ.
That's what I
At the
want.
age of 27, yes, at the age of 27 is when I was called to preach.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay, I got
yes,
you. Continue.
yeah. And so with that, when I was called to preach at the age of 27, well, I had some issues with that calling, because I still was trying to figure me out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still going through some things personally in my life, and I'm trying to figure me out. I'm trying to figure out how to, take care of my family, how to do the things that I need to do to be successful in life. And so when God called me during that period in my life, that was very difficult for me to accept, because I was still trying to get over my mom's death.
Right.
And at the same time, I still had hatred in my heart for, my stepfather. My stepfather, he left us at a critical time in my life. I think I was 15 or 16 when he left home. My mom had just got diagnosed with cancer. It wasn't good, and it kind of left us at a critical time in our life. And I had a sense of hatred.
Let me pause
Yes.
you. So your mom was diagnosed with cancer. So did he leave because she was diagnosed with cancer, or did he leave at the time that the prognosis was there?
Yeah, he left. He left at the time of the prognosis and when she was diagnosed, and all of that. Yeah, he left then, and it scarred. It scarred. Me and my brother, because we were the oldest two siblings at the time, and so it scarred us. Because he was the man figure of the home, and yeah, and we needed that.
Yes.
We needed it as boys growing up in the type of society that we was growing up in. We needed that male figure. And so when he left us during her sick period, during her downtime, it created a hatred in my heart towards him. And I just never got over it. And so when God called me to preach at 27, I said, oh, I don't know about that. I don't know about that because I don't see where I'm ready, because there's so many things that I'm not doing according to your will. So how can I tell others to do right by your will, and I'm not doing right by your will? And also I have hatred in my heart. But long story short,
you have to
I found
you ain't got to make
but after some years of running, and if anybody know about running, you can't run far. After years of running, I finally accepted my calling. I accepted my calling to preach, and I never forget, Marion, when I accepted my calling, I cried profusely. I just cried, and I said, Lord, I really need your help. I can't do this at all without you. And I never forget when he spoke to me, and it was like the first time I had ever heard from God in such a way. He said to me, before I can send you out, you must first forgive your stepfather. And I struggled. Oh, Marion, I struggled with that. I said, wow. I said, now what do I say to him? How can I ask, how can I tell him I forgive him and be genuine, and be genuine about it? And so God helped me with that. He helped me with that. And I remember calling him and telling him that I had forgiven him and all of that for his actions and so on and so on.
How did he respond when you said
I'm glad you asked me that. I actually was going to leave that out, but since you asked, I'll tell you.
They tell me I listen well, so I'm just
you're listening very well.
I just try to help the people out there YouTube land.
I'm glad you asked me that. When he responded, Mary, and this was the crazy part. When he responded, I said, I just want to call and let you know that God has called me to preach the gospel, and one of the things that I must do, and that is to forgive you for the hatred I had in my heart towards you. And we talked for just a split second, and then his response was, well, you do realize that everybody has to forgive. So he never said, I'm sorry, I had this going on as to why I left. I wish things were different. None of that took place. And his response was,
so for the good folks out there, forgiveness is for who?
It's for you.
It's for you. It's for you.
Okay.
I just wanted to hear you tell the good folks that forgiveness is for you, regardless
Yes.
of the response of the other person. Continue.
Amen. Amen. It is for you. And I had to learn that. I had to learn that because once I gave him and everything, and even with his response, I remember hanging up and this heavy burden, this I mean extreme burden, was lifted off of me because I carried that hatred for all those years, and God knew that I would not be effective as a preacher, harboring hatred in my heart. He knew it, and so he helped me with that, and so my journey began. That's when my journey began, with preaching and singing, and I enjoyed every minute of it, the ups and the downs. God allowed me to grow tremendously throughout my travels as a preacher and singing career and so on.
Okay, okay. So I heard you say earlier that you were trying to be the husband and the father. So you were married?
Yes, yes. Married young, three beautiful children that are grown now. Uh, and but at that time, of course, they were very small, and I was, and when my mother died, I need to say this because I want everybody to know that it's never too late. Never too late for what it is you're seeking in life. Because when my mom died, I worked two jobs. I went to school, I went to high school, and I worked for McDonald's and Burger King. I worked at McDonald's throughout the week, and they allowed me to work at Burger King on the weekends. And that was a no-no back then because McDonald's and Burger King were competition. Yes, right. And they didn't, if you worked at McDonald's, you couldn't work at Burger King.
Right.
But God just opened doors back then for me that even I couldn't see. And I just worked and I worked. And I never forget that I wanted to be an engineer. That was my dream. I wanted to be an engineer. And I never forget, I went to Norfolk State University.
Okay.
I went to Norfolk State University and I was about 25. I think I was about 25 or 26. And I went to Norfolk State University and I had to, you had to take the test, the placement test and all of that. And so I failed miserably in the math part. And if anybody knows, in order to be an engineer, you have to, have to know math. And so I failed miserably in the math department, and I never forget it. The lady came to me and she told me, she said, you may need to look at another profession because you'll never be an engineer.
Okay.
And that was at Norfolk State University. Wow. And I never forget, Mary, I left that college with my head hung down. I was so depressed. I was so disappointed in myself. And her words did not encourage me, not one bit.
Wow.
And my point is that even though you are being told you can't,
yes,
we serve a God that can show others that you can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
So you were in school, and then what happened after that? After you,
well,
was very encouraging.
Well, when when I when I was told that I would never be able to be an engineer, I believed it. You know, because we have to be careful how we, what we plant into people.
That's correct.
And what we sow into people. And so since she planted that type of negativity in me, I became negative about what I could and could not do. Okay. And so we just got to be careful how we plant things into others, because I became negative about what I could and could not do. And so I started just working dead end jobs because that's all I thought I was worthy of.
You thought you were worthy of. Okay.
That's all I thought I was worthy of. I just worked dead end jobs after job after job, just dead end. And it became frustrating. It became frustrating because the jobs that I worked wasn't even covering the rent sometimes.
Mm.
And I was working 2, and sometimes one time I was working 3 jobs.
Wow.
And it was barely just covering the bills that needed to be taken care of. And so I just went through that kind of life of thinking I was unworthy of having the best, or having what God wants us to have.
Mm.
And I went through that for a long time. And in 2001, the Gospel Keynotes of Tyler, Texas, they was doing a new project, and they called me. A guy recommended me.
Uh-huh.
He recommended me. And they was looking for a second tenor singer, and that's what I sung. And they was needing a second tenor singer, and I was recommended. And they flew me into Newark, New Jersey,
Okay.
for the yeah, to do that. And they had 4 other guys there to audition, and those 3 didn't make it, and I did.
Okay.
I made it, and they hired me, and I traveled on the road for about 4 years.
Oh, wow.
And I got a chance to sing all across the country.
Okay. So you were preaching and singing
I was preaching and singing.
at this time, the gospel keynote.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Yeah.
you had 3 young children at home and a wife at home.
Yeah. Right.
How
And
was that affecting the marriage? Talk about that.
it affected it. It affected it.
I'm a good listener.
Yeah, and I see now. It affected it. It affected it quite well, because, first of all, being young and given such an opportunity, singing was all I knew that I was great at or good at.
Hmm.
And yeah, because I had been doing it since I was a youngster, and so that was something I knew I could do and somewhat master. And so when I got the opportunity to go and travel professionally,
Uh-huh.
and I regret it now. I actually regret it now. I kind of left, my my family, and just pursued that career without thinking about, well, I need to be home for my boys, and I need to be there for my daughter and stuff like that. And we ended up getting a divorce. Her and I ended up getting a divorce. Things wasn't well. She had her faults, I had my faults, and traveling on the road wasn't helping. And so yes, we ended up divorced. Now I stayed, of course, close with my children.
So you've shared a little bit with us about your journey through the unforgiveness with your stepfather,
Mm-hmm.
not
Mm-hmm.
really being there for you guys and leaving at a very critical time in your mom's life. And
Yeah.
that's how you recognize. I like that. You
Yeah.
recognize, you
Mm.
knew that you had unforgiveness in your heart.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a beautiful
Yeah.
thing, because the beginning of healing is acknowledging the truth.
Amen. That is correct.
Yes. So you understood that and you did
Mhm.
that, and you forgave
Yes.
your stepfather.
Yes.
Then I'm just retracking for the good folks. And then and then you discovered this well, no, you didn't discover this old crazy lady. I'm gonna call her a crazy teacher, because she just was like, oh, discouraging.
Yeah.
But
Right.
it took God. I like this. God
Mhm.
always has somebody to
Right.
come and encourage us when we're
Right.
down or when we're stuck. And so
That's
this guy, whoever he was that
right.
person in your life that made you know that you could do something other than, an engineer, or
That's right.
what you were worth. Am I right?
That's right. You're right. You're right.
And you
Yeah.
sang, and you got that opportunity because you knew you could, and it added to the disbursement of your marriage. And
Right.
so here we are.
Here we are.
We're
Here we are.
divorced. What are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
What are we doing now?
Right. Yeah. We're divorced. Um, I'm trying to make wrong right. I'm trying to still figure some things out. I'm still new into preaching, and I'm still trying to fathom this thing about being a professional singer. And I'm still trying to figure out how can I keep this strong relationship with my children while trying to manage all these different things that I'm facing. And it was a challenge, complete challenge, complete challenge. And so with all of that going on, I come to Texas. I finally decide that I'm going to move and I'm going to come to Texas. And because I thought by moving here to Texas, it will, hopefully start a, new life, new beginning. And so I came here to Texas, and that's when I met my second wife here in Tyler at a program. And we met, and that went well for a little while, but it turned. God called me to pastor. Now, here's what I tell people: all the years that I preached at home in Virginia, and all the years that I preached on while traveling on the road and stuff like that, it was when God placed me in the state of Texas to call me to pastor. And so in 2009, I was called to pastor. Pastored my first church in 2009. And pastored there, very small church, pastored there. And that's when I saw the change in my second wife. She decided that what happened was she simply decided that she wasn't she didn't sign up to be a pastor's wife.
Oh, okay. So she decided she didn't sign up for that.
Right. Yeah. It was okay that she signed up for the, be the wife of a professional singer that preach on an occasion.
I was going to say, did she know you were a minister, a preacher?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
But she was okay with that, but she wasn't okay with your call to the pastor. Pastor.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So he decides to leave. Do I have that right?
Yes. Yeah. Things. Well, what happened was we made it through my first assignment with the first church that I was at. I was there for about 3.5 years. And that church grew. God helped me to grow that church. That church grew. And then we had some members, like at every church, I imagine, that decided that I was taking them too fast. And now keep in mind that when God sent me there, there was only about 4 people. While I was there, God was just sending in souls were being saved, people being set free, delivered, and church would be packed every Sunday. And they had a meeting on me secretly and said that I think he's taking us too fast, and I when I learned about the meeting, I didn't fuss or fight, because I had asked God to give me wisdom to be the pastor that you need me to be over your people. And so with God's wisdom, I decided not to fuss and fight. I decided to let God handle it. And I stayed there for probably another 2 or 3 months, I believe. And I never forget, God came to me in a dream and said, your time is up. Your time
from that church.
From that church. Yeah. He just spoke. That's all he said. Your time is up.
Okay.
And I cried because I didn't know what was next. And so I was very emotional about that.
Relationship with some of the people? Did you have a good relationship with a bit of the people, the members?
Absolutely. Even to this day.
How did they respond, the ones that weren't with those that had decided to give you a hard time? How did
they were very disgruntled. They was very hurt. Couldn't believe what was going on, because when God spoke to me in that dream, I knew I had to obey him in spite of what others thought. I knew I had to obey him. Didn't know what the next step was. Didn't know what he had for me next, but I knew I had to obey him. And so,
I got a question. I got a question. The people said
yes,
you were taking them too fast. Can you share
yeah,
what they meant by taking them too fast?
okay, sure.
One or two
What
things.
they meant was they this was, I want you to keep in mind, this was a church that was out in the middle of nowhere,
Okay.
and literally in the middle of nowhere. And so they were used to just having the, Sunday morning service, and after that, that's it. We going home, play dominoes, whatever they do, and that was it. That was it. Little country town.
And you coming there trying to share with them how to live.
Yes, yes. And I'm trying. What happened was when God sent me there. One, I know now what I almost really didn't know then. What He was doing with me was He was helping me to help them understand that ministry is outside of these four walls.
Okay.
You know, and it wasn't just about coming to morning worship and then everybody go home and meet at Joe's house and all this carrying on like that. It was more to ministry. So what happened was God had me to start putting the deacons to work by starting a monthly ministry, by going visiting the sick and shut in and things like that. And we was doing that once a month. And then we was
They won't do that. They want to play domino.
they won't play domino. They don't want to do that. They don't want to do that.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
and so we had that ministry going, and then God allowed as the church grew, our children's choir was created, and then the men's choir was created, and then the young adult choir was created, and so many other things started to come into play. And,
so wait, you just come there talking about ministry and serving and yeah, and you just upsetting the people.
it was just those few. It was that.
Wait, I want to know what happened after that. So, good folks, we're going to come back next week and let Ricardo tell y'all what happened. How the people got him out the church? I mean, he said the Lord told him. So, we're going to hear how it happened. He wants to start a deacon's ministry, a servant ministry, feeding the homeless, children's ministry. He won't upset the people, upset the cart. With that said, this is DTM Real Talk, and we're just keeping it real. We'll see y'all next week. Thanks for watching DTM Real Talk. Be sure to join us for more conversation. And oh yeah, don't forget to hit that like button, share, and subscribe while you're there.